Hello and welcome back. It's puzzle time with Sudoku Sleuth, and today we're playing Spot the Killer. Now you can see Sleuth kind of looking around in this city landscape, very dark looking city landscape, with a light, what looks like a telescope or microscope, trying to spot the killer. Now, if you're kind of guessing at this theme, there's fog, there's a killer on the loose, they're hiding in the fog, then you wouldn't be surprised to see that this is another puzzle by Flinty. And we featured, I think, the previous three in, I'm going to call them a series. I don't know if Flinty would at this particular time, but they all sort of play very similar. And if you haven't played them, I can't remember which one is it that's in the first one. I think it's like Killer in the Mist or something similar, or it may be Killer in the Fog. Whatever it is, I'll make sure that I link it up here, and that I suggest that you guys give it a go if you haven't played them or anyone else in the series. So work through them. They're all phenomenal and they all play roughly similar, not exactly the same, because usually there's a little bit of a twist. So let's take a look at the rule sets that we have for today. We've got normal Sudoku rules apply, so that's fairly standard. That means there is the digits 1 to 9 with no repeat in every row, every row, every row, and every column. I'm not going to repeat every column, you get the gist. And every box as well, every 3 by 3 box that are defined with these thicker black lines. So 1 to 9, no repeats. Fog of War. So many of you that are regular viewers of this channel will be familiar with this. Most of the grid is covered in the fog. The fact that every cell except one here is a grey cell tells you that, yes, most of the grid is indeed covered in fog. As you solve, more of the grid will appear. So, given really this is the only place we would have to start, if I place, I kind of think I know what that digit is, so I'll mislead you and say it's a 2. If I place a 2 in here and it's the correct digit, then all of the following surrounding fog cells, orthogonally and diagonally, will be revealed and hopefully will show us more of the grid to actually figure out what on earth are we doing next. Killer cages, so we can see kind of just the peak of a killer cage in here. So digits in cages must sum to the number in the top left corner, and digits cannot repeat within a cage. So I'm just going to imagine that this cage is doing something like this. It's a 3-cell cage. We don't exactly know because it's covered in fog, but you've got this dashed line highlighting, because it is part of the rule set. All cages are exactly 3 cell size, 3 cells in size, and do not overlap / share cells. So let's imagine this 23 cage is these 3 blue cells. We're clearly going to have to actually figure out what this digit is before we can place it. And in essence, these 3 cells have to add up to the number in the top left corner. So if I add these 3 digits, they must sum up to 23. The other 2 statements I just read out is that all the cages are 3 cells in sizes. So not 4, that can't be another cage. Well, it can't be the same cage, I should say. It could be a different cage as long as they don't overlap. So there could be another 3-cell cage in here, and that would be fine. What I can't do is have a 3-cell cage that overlaps on the same cell. Okay? Right. What else do we have? One more thing about cages. All cages contain exactly 1 Kropki dot linking 2 cells within the same cage. We haven't talked about Kropki dots just yet, but you're going to have to use your imagination here a bit. Rather than it being a cross, in essence, it'll be a dot joining 2 cells, and it can come up in black variety or the white variety. I'm going to use a bit of colors to highlight the cells that they're connecting. So these 2 cells, for example, could be connected with a black dot between them, or these 2 cells could be connected with an invisible white dot between them. Let's go with something that might make it stand out a bit more. Does that make it? Yeah, that's a bit more obvious. So in the case that this cross, again, use that imagination, use it hard, is a dot, and it's connecting these 2 cells that are in red, then the black dots are saying they have to be in values of 2 to 1 ratio. So continuing with my 2 example, if that was a 2, this has to be in a 2 to 1 ratio. That could be a 1, as in 2 to 1 ratio, or 2 times 2, that would be a 4, as in again 4 to 2, that's also in a 2 to 1 ratio. So essentially one of these digits in the black dot domino is a multiple of 2 by the other one. Next we have, again, continue to use that imagination. We've got a white dot in here, not a white cross. And what that's saying is that these 2 cells are consecutive. So if this was the 2, this cell has to be consecutive. So that could be 1, as in 1 plus 1 is 2, or it could be 2 plus 1 is 3. Now, as avoiding the fact that both of these are in the same box, that would be a totally valid pencil marking for a black and white dot pair. Now, the last statement that I read out before I got diverted on this is that all cages contain exactly one Kropki dot linking the 2 cells within the same cage. So there is an invisible one somewhere in this cage. Either it's going down here or it's turning right, but there is a Kropki dot of some sort joining these 2 cells that are not available. And every cage that we go through, we should expect to see a Kropki dot in it, or guess that there is one if it's not visible to us. So, if everything I just said hasn't intimidated you, and you fancy trying to spot a killer in the fog, link will be in the description down below as usual for you to play along. And with that said, I'm going to restart the clock and see how I get on. So the break-in for this puzzle is very much to do with the Kropki dots here. Now, a 23 cage in 3 cells, and I don't know what the 3 cells are. It could be straight down, it could be turning right here. What I do know is that the cage is going to be made up of 6, 8, and 9. Because that's the only way to get to 23 in 3 cells. Kind of the way to figure that out is, essentially if it's 24, that's the maximum, that's 7, 8, 9. If you're taking one away, you decrease the smallest digit by 1, the 7, to make it 6, 8, 9. Now, if you think about the 3 digits, and I am going to write them down at least in here, apparently there is a pair in there that are connected with a dot of some sort. It could be black, it could be white. Well, if it's black, I don't know how to do it. You could be a better mathematician than I am, because none of these digits are a multiple of 2 of the other. However, 2 of them are indeed consecutive, the 8 and 9. Now, the fact that there is no white Kropki dot between these 2 tells me that this is not the consecutive digit, somewhere else is. So that's the 6. And there you go, that's not the 6, and it's indeed vertical, that's 8, 9. 11 in 3 cells, there's probably a few ways of doing it, but a way that includes a black Kropki dot and not 6 or 8, I think it's forced. So just a quick recap of black Kropki dots. They are from 1, 2, 4, 8. This is one set, this is another set, 3, 6, and then the last set, 5, 7, and 9. So essentially you've got a series of black Kropki dots. Not that it matters today that they're in fact a series, but you've got either a 1, 2, a 2, 4, a 4, 8, as in multiples of 2, or powers of 2, I should say, or a 3, 6. And these are sort of dots that can be, or digits that can be on black Kropki dots. However, 5, 7, and 9 can never be. So the fact that I've already used a 6 in box 1, it's not a 3, 6. If I have an 8, well, it's gone. I've already pencil marked it in here. So the only 2 possibilities are either 1, 2, which would be a 3 with an 8. I've already pencil marked this in. That's not possible. The other option is 2, 4, and indeed the only remaining option is 2, 4, which adds up to 6, and I need a 5 in here. I'm looking at this cage. Not all cage totals are given. Lovely. Very nice. So we have another 3-cell cage, and I have no idea what the value is. So let's, I guess, just pencil mark what are the remaining digits in here. We've got 1, 7, and 3. So 137. Now, this cell I already covered, 5, 7, and 9. I didn't actually discuss why. You can never have on a 7 on a black Kropki dot, or indeed 5 or 9. And the reason for that is if I try and multiply that by 2, I get to 14, which you can see I can't even write in this software. The other alternative would be 3.5, which I'm definite I cannot write in. Regardless, neither of these are allowed under normal Sudoku rules. So 5, 7, and 9 are never included. Now, from the 1 and 3, I could do 3, 6, but I would be repeating the 6 in the row. So that's a 1, that's a 2. This is not 1, this is a 3, 7 pair. We've got another Kropki pair in here, which I'm very tempted to say is 4 and 8. The reason I'm thinking 4 and 8 is they are the large, well, actually, they're the only remaining black Kropki pair that we have. Because we've already placed 1 and 2. So the only 2 that are available is 4, 8, and 3, 6, but 6 is not available. So this is 4, 8. And then somewhere in here, so that's a 12. I need a 5 to add up to 17. This cage can't continue this way because that would repeat a 5 in the row. It has to come down, and this is a 5. I have no idea what this is, though. This is tough going. I wasn't expecting it, to have to think so early in the morning, but let's keep thinking about this. So, white Kropki dot. It's not 1, 2. It's not 2, 3. It's not 3, 4. We've already pencil marked that. It's not 4, 5. It's not 5, 6. It can be, and in fact, I think it's exclusively 6, 7. Because 8 is pencil marked, so anything with 8 is ruled out. 7, 8 is not available, and 8, 9 is not available. Meaning that these are, is that 1, 3, and 9? Am I correct in thinking that? That's the remaining cells. And again, remember, no 9s on black Kropki dots. This is 1 or 3. That could be 1 with a 2, or 3 with a 6. Now, more importantly, we have a whole bunch of digits now that are telling us what these are. I'm going to actually go down here where the 139 is a triplet that includes a 3. This cannot be a 3. That's a 7. That's a 3. Sorry, 3. I don't know why I typed 2. 139 tells us that this cannot be a 9. This is an 8. This is the 9. No, that can still be a 6. This can still be a 4. Okay, so I don't actually know which one this is. You can see I've got another white Kropki dot though. So available options include 1, 2, not 2, 3, not 3, 4, not 4, 5, not 5, 6, 7, or 8, because the 7 is not available and the 9 is not available. So this is in fact forced at 1, 2. With a 4 in here and a 2 in there. Kind of half tempted to delete the 8 just to see that the 2 is indeed working, but we're going to trust. The 1, 2, though, gives me a 6, and therefore a 3, and no 3s in here. 1, 2 plus some magical digit up there. Okay. 13 is probably my best bet. If I can figure out what these two cells are. They're not 9, 8, 7, 6. They are 4 and 5. The wide range of options in here for the 13 cage. Let me think about what this last cell is. I do know what this is. I should have just placed it. That's an 8, which tells me that's a 4, because again, black Kropki dot, and it has to be in a ratio of 2 to 1 with the 8. That's a 4. That's a 5. That's now 4 or 6. I don't actually know yet. I'll have to think about the 13 cage in a moment. And do I know what these are? I don't know what any of these are. This is 3, 7, and 9. The absence of a total on these cages does make you have to work a bit harder. So 13, if I would use 5, 4, that's a 9. Requiring a second 4 in the column to get to 13. So that's a 6, that's a 2, that's 15. Does the 2 do anything? Nope. Does the 6 do anything? Nope. So 15 it is. This is where we need to bring our A game and figure out what this is. So the minimum this can be, sorry, the maximum this can be is 9. No, let me try this again. These 2 digits, because it's an odd and an even, because they have to be consecutive, are going to add to an odd digit. And then to get to 15, you need an even digit in here, because these 2 are odd. You need an even digit to get to an odd digit. So the options include 8, 4, and 2, because 6 is not available as an even digit in this cell. So if this was a 2, that would be, these 2 would be 13. Only way to do that with 2 consecutive digits is 6, 7. That's not available. In fact, the 2 is not available, so that was a bad example. 4 with a 15, that would be an 11. I'd need 5 and 6. Again, not available. So this is definitely an 8. I need a 7 in here, which is 3 and 4. This 4 gives me the order. That's 4, that's 3. And again, they don't really resolve a lot for me, do they? What I do have is another black Kropki Dot, and it seems like the only clue that is available to move me forward. Because, yeah, nothing else is really resolved. So, black Kropki Dots are available in this cage. Well, I've basically placed all of them except one. So 8, 4, 2, and 6 and 3. This has to be a 1. This has to be a 2. 1 and 2, that's a 3. It needs to add up to 10. That's a 7. We'll come back to this. I just want to pencil mark what these are. Well, actually, this one gives me the 2. The 1, what do I have in here? 1, 2, 3, 4. I need 5, 7, and 9. Ironically, 7 eliminated from these 2 cells. That's a 7. 5 eliminated from this cell. 5, 9. Does it resolve anything up here? Let's just take a look. 7. Of course not. Okay. Right. White dot it is. So we need 2 consecutive digits. And it's not 1, 2, and anything to do with 3 or 4. So we're already at least a minimum of 5, 6. Not 7, not 8, and therefore not 9, because the 8 is not available. So this is 5, 6. Oh, the 7 gives me the order. Come on, Sleuth, 6, 7, and therefore this is the 5 and 6. I haven't resolved the 1 and 9. Nope. Another white Kropki Dot. That's not 1, 2, it's not 2, 3, it's not 3, 4. It's not 4, 5, because they're both looking at this cell. It's not 5, 6, because they're both looking at this cell. It's not 6, 7, because the 7 is eliminated from both of these cells. It's not 7, 8, because the 7 is gone. It can only be 8 and 9, and the order is given with these 8 and 9s. That's 8, that's 9. I'm kind of half tempted to fill this in, pencil mark it, but it's not really helping, because we have no totals. We actually can't really deduce much. Am I going to go for it anyway? I've got 3, 4, and 6. 6 in here, 4 in there, and 6 in here. So I actually do know what this is. This is a 6. And these are 3, 4s. Right, black Kropki Dot next, probably. 8's not available, 1's not available, 3, 6 is not available. This is 2, 4. And therefore these 2 are 1, 2, 3, 4. I need 5 and 6, I'm going to say. This 6 tells me the 6 is not here. That's a 5. That's a 6. 6 has to go with 5 or 7. That's adjacent. 7 is not available in the column. That's a 5. This could be anything. This could be anything. Right. Let's just pause a second and see if I should just pencil mark and do a bit of Sudoku. What can I fill in? Right. This row is 1, 2, 7. Notice this is not 2 or 7. That's a 1. That's not 1. This is 2 or 7. That 2 gives me the order. That's 7, that's 2. The 1, of course, isn't helping. It's not looking up at anything. Always the way, isn't it? Then we've got 3, 4, and... well, actually, that's a loose 3, 4, which is unfortunate. So we've got another loose 3, 4. Then we have 8 and 9. Not sure about this. I'm not seeing it. So that's just 8, 9. Then we have another loose 3, 4 with a 1. Again, unknown. Okay. So I'm just pausing for a second to think, is there nothing obvious at this point? And there must be. I'm like, it's probably just Sudoku that I'm not thinking about. So for example, 8 and 9 are definitely down here. I've already got 2, 4, and 6. And then in essence, this is only 1 or 3. And then there's another 1 or 3 in here in the 8, 9. Then the 7 has to be here. I'm guessing so does the 5. So the 5 is in there. So I said there was a loose 1, 3. I'm guessing there's a loose 1, 3 in here as well. And we already knew that one of these is a 4. Interesting. Yeah. Okay, what about this cage? So what can it be? It can be 1, it's not 2, we're repeating. 3, it can be, there's nothing in there eliminating it. 4, no, can't be because that's a 2, 4, can't be 5, can't be 6, can't be 7. It can be 8 or 9. Sorry, 19 cage. Sleuth, what are you doing? That's 11. I need an 8. Dear oh dear. 4, 8. Neither of these are 8. That's an 8. I need 3, 4, and a 9. I can actually just pencil mark these now. That's 3, 9, and that's 4, 9. Do you have anything peeking in there to help me? Nope. Just the 13 cage, which I'll think about in a second. And then in here, I can eliminate the 8. And then 1, 3, 9, no 4. Because we've got 1, 3, 4, and 9. And this is going to be, well, it looks like any of them. Have I done anything in here? Nope. I want to think about this column. 1, 3, 9, and something else. 2. There is now a 2 down here, which I can actually place. So 2s, 2s, 2 and 2 eliminates all of these. That's the only 2 that's left, which tells me a lot about the 13 cage. So that step was probably necessary. This is either a 1 or 4. It's not 1. I mean, it's not 1 because that would have been 3, and then I would have had to put in a 10 in here. So 2 and 4, that's 6, that's 7. And 14 cage, I'm sure I can probably think through this one. Have I got anything easier to do first? Really doesn't look like it, does it? So there's another 4, 9 in here with a 6, mind you. The fact that I have, no, I do have another 4, 9, it's not defined. The sentence I was about to say is, there's a 4 in here, and therefore the 4 is there. But obviously the 4 could have been here, and this could be 6, 9. So it was a nonsense statement, so just ignore it. I need another 3, 9 with a 5. And, right, let's just think about this. It's not 1, 2, it's not 2, 3, it's not 3, 4, it's not 4, 5. It could be 5, 6. No, it can't be. We've got 2 of them in the column, looking at both of these cells. It could be 6, 7. It has to be 6, 7, because that gets me to 13, and I need at least a non-zero digit in here. So that's the one That's the 6 because of this 6, and that's the 7. Right, come on, that's got to help, surely. So that's a 6, that's a 4, 9. Just looking up the column, basically to see what is left. I know what this is, surely. That's a 7 or 9. No, it's not. 7 in here means no 7 there. Need a 7 in the column. That's a 7. 3, a 9. This is now 5 or 3, 5, it looks like. Yep. These two I know. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I need 8 and 9. That's the 9. That's the 8. That eliminates 8 and 9 from here, forcing this to be an 8, forcing this to be a 9. Incredibly, still like a whole bunch of things I need to think through. You kind of hope it would just sort of fall apart at some point, but nope. It's fighting every step of the way. Right, what easy things can I remove? I've done all the easy ones, it seems. Back with the thinking hat. One, 3, 4. What am I looking for? 1, 9, 1, 3, 9. So this could be 1, 3, or 4 again. It's not 9 because we already placed it in the row. One of these is 2. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 9 all loose. No 4s in here. I don't think this is where the revelation is. This is probably more useful. 1, 3. Oh yeah, hang on. That's not a 7. That's a 3. That's a 1. That's the 7. That's the 5. That's the 4. That's the 1. That's a 3. I'm sure that's helped quite a bit. That 5 gives me the 3. The 5. This is not a 3 anymore. This is 1 or 9. So I've got 1, 2, 4, 9. Yeah. I've got 2, 3, 4. Yeah. Got a 1, 9 pair. Yeah. And a 3, 4 pair. Yeah. I'm missing something. I'm sure I am. I mean, this is 2 or 3. So this could be 1, 2, 3, 9. It's not 3, so this is 1, 2, or 9. Let me stare at this for a second, just to see what I'm missing. I'm sure many of you are going to shout at your screen in a second, but... So I filled all of these in, hopefully correctly. And nothing seems to be jumping out at me. There's no cage total I'm missing. There's no cage total I'm missing. I'm just saying that out loud to myself, to persuade myself. 2, 3, 4, no real pairs. 1, 2, 4, 9, no real pairs. Right. For looking at this 3, 4. Whoops. It's all right. That's, and if I've not made any mistakes, that's the solution to today's puzzle. Beautiful puzzle as always, Flinty. Very logical. The killer cages without... I guess it's probably because I just didn't read it in the rules somehow. You know, the statement, not all cage totals are given. I just completely missed it when I was reading through the rules. And then it just stumped me when I came across all of these cages that had no totals. And then I was just like thrown off my game for some reason. But aside from that, I think the rest of it was pretty smooth going. Fairly logical conclusions to move you forward. you do need, as you get sort of further and further down the path, I mean, kind of going through there was fairly smooth. And then once you got sort of around here, it started really relying on a bit of Sudoku to actually strengthen your conclusions and try and reveal a bit more of the grid. You know, particularly this 2, for example, to see this 13 cage, that's a good example of it. And then I think I've just been doing too much variant Sudoku because, you know, having to do Sudoku now is just like awkward. Hope you guys enjoyed the puzzle. I know I have. And the video. Well, I'll read about the comments, I'm sure, about Sudoku blindness striking with this 4 for so long. But see you guys all for the next one. Bye for now.